But Mae West, your romantic. I mean,
well, that's going a bit far. Not romantically. I think we had a great admiration for one another. She admired me and I admired her because to me she's one of the great legends of our time. And to be in the presence of someone who's that legendary is quite mind-boggling for me. And the story I tell in my book, which actually is very true, she in jest said to one of our mutual friends, it was her birthday, and they said, "What would you like for your birthday?" She said, "Just bring me Liberace," you know. And so they told me that she'd said that, and I said, what a marvelous chance to meet her. So they dressed me all up and put a great big red ribbon around me and wrapped me like a package, you know. Rang her doorbell and ran, you see. And her servant came to the door, and I said, "I'm Miss West's birthday present." He gave me a funny look, you know. She always surrounded herself with these big muscular guys, you know. And he looked like he didn't know whether to laugh or to hit me. So he went and got her, and I said, "Happy birthday, here I am," you know. Well, we had a most wonderful evening. We got to know each other, and she began telling me the story of her life, which was quite amazing, because when she spoke of Mae West, she spoke of her as another person. She's really quite a different person in real life. She has this reputation for being a sex symbol and all that, but in real life, she's really quite a simple lady. You know, she doesn't drink or smoke or tell dirty jokes or hates anyone who smokes in front of her. You know, she's very pure-minded, you know. And I found her very fascinating. In fact, my mother and her became very good friends. And I've had many interesting times with her. I think one of the fun times is when we went to the premiere of a show in Hollywood, which we were both represented in. It was a puppet show, and it's called Les Poupées de Paris. And Mae West and I were both in it. And so we went together. And I called her and I said, "I would like to invite you, and may I escort you to the premiere?" And it was very marvelous. She said, "My limousine or yours?" You know, it was really kind of marvelous. And I said, "Well, I have a lovely car, and you're welcome to, I'd love to pick you up." And she said, "Well, that's kind of out of your way. Why don't I pick you up?" So she came up to my home in Hollywood in her lovely limousine, and she looked up at my house, and I said, "Could you come in?" She said, "Well, it's a bit late. We better get to the theater." And she said, "But if there's any time afterward, I'd love to see your home." So on the way to the theater, I was describing it. I said, "I think you'd like my house. It's all done in white, and it's got gold doors and a lot of pretty crystal chandeliers." And I said, when I bought the house, I had this marvelous organ, and I said, "I've had it all done in gold, and it's just beautiful, and I'd love to show it to you." So at the end of the evening, we were ready to leave, and some of the reporters kept following us everywhere we went, you know. Oh, I left out a cute little part. As we were walking down the aisle to take our seats, all of us, naturally, all the heads turned to look at her, and a few looked at me. And all of a sudden, right in the middle of this aisle in this big theater, she stopped, you know, and she looked all about, and she was just loving it all, you know, all the people gazing at her, you know, in admiration. And I thought, well, this is a bit much, you know, just, you know, standing there adoring her public, and they're adoring her. And all of a sudden, out of the corner of her mouth, she said to me, "You're standing on my train." You know, and I was. So I looked down and I got off her dress, and away we went to our seats. But anyway, to get back to the end of the show, this reporter said, where are you and Liberace going now?" She said, "I'm going up to his home to look at his gold organ."
Miss Mae Young is really a tomboy. Ed Lewis was a friend of her family. He started her wrestling at the age of 5. Ed Lewis is probably better known to most of you people as Strangler Lewis. Mae Young played football, kicked field goals for a boys' football team in high school. She's excelled in every sport in which she's participated.
But Mae West, I I mean,
Oh, that's going a bit far. Not romantically. I think we had a great admiration for one another. She admired me, and I admired her, because to me, she's one of the great legends of our time. And to be in the presence of someone who's that legendary is quite mind-boggling for me. And the story I tell in my book, which actually is very true, she in jest said to one of our mutual friends, it was her birthday, and they said, "What would you like for your birthday?" She said, "Just bring me Liberace," you know. And so they told me